What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, chess players and chess fans all around the world? Welcome to Rafi Chowdhury's chess channel. And in today's video, we're going to be answering the question of whether a chess game can end in a draw. And so as we answer that question, we're also going to be doing some chess tactics puzzles, because why not, sharpen and train our brain while we're learning something at the same time. So I'm actually going to be doing some of these tactical problems with you guys and explaining my thought process while talking about this particular topic as well. So let's get started. So before we begin this puzzle, so let's talk a little bit about what is a draw. A draw in chess can happen in multiple ways. First of all, you can agree to a draw at any point during the game. Two players can both agree the game is a draw, so the game is agreed to a draw. Simple as that. Anybody can offer a draw at any point during the game, even before making the first move. The second way that you can draw a game is by having insufficient material. So that's basically when you don't have enough material to finish the game or checkmate the opponent's king, so the game is agreed to a draw. The third way you can have a draw is if the same position repeats 3 times in a chess game. So let's just say your opponent makes a move, you make a move, they make a move, you make a move, they make a move, you make a move, and the same position repeated 3 times, not necessarily consecutively, but just if the same position recurs 3 times in a row, the game is automatically decided as a draw. It's called a threefold repetition draw, or threefold draw. Then you can also have draw by stalemate, where the king is not in check, but a player has no legal moves to make, so that position is also called a draw. And then you can also have a draw in timed chess, over the board at least, if you run out of time, but your opponent does not have sufficient material to checkmate you, then the game is agreed to draw as well in chess. So those are the types of draw. That's actually more common online than it is in real life. So yeah, so those are the main ways the game can end in a draw, and draws are definitely very common in chess, especially at higher levels. Draws are very, very common, as in both players tend to play, pretty solid moves, and they tend to be able to hold the position together. So that's typically, that is typically how draws most frequently happen. And the lower levels of chess, a lot of games are drawn because of insufficient checkmating material, or 2 kings are left, or something like that. So let's get started with this particular game, or this particular chess puzzle. So here we have, first I like to look at the material differences. So queen and 2 major pieces and 2 minors. So queen and 2 major pieces and 2 minors on both sides. 3 pawns, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns for black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns for white. So we're down a pawn. So I like to look at the most forcing moves, which are checks and captures. So can I capture this? Yes, I can, but then what happens? Queen takes. That doesn't do me any good. What if I were to play b3? He moves the knight to b6 or something. Then I can take the queen. He takes back. And not sure how much I'm getting from that particular trade of queens there, because he's going to be forking my two pieces here. Looking at a move like knight to e3 here. If he takes, I take the queen. He takes. Maybe the idea here is to actually shoo off the queen, maybe somehow. How can we get this queen to move from here? Because if we can, then this piece, which is a loose piece in this position, might become vulnerable. Got another idea. If we play b3, he plays knight b6. And we can take the queen. He takes back. I got it. Eventually, once he takes, after a bunch of trades happen on b6, what's going to happen is this piece will be double attacked because the knight won't be there to defend anymore. So that's got to be the idea. Oh, no, got it wrong. I think it was this first. No, that's not the idea at all. Interesting. None of these moves. Wow. Maybe it's this. Yeah. Now that makes sense. Same idea, but just different approach to it. I think we can take this rook here. Well, that was a pretty tough puzzle, but again, the approach that I'm taking towards these puzzles nowadays is that I'm going very quickly with them. I'm not really taking that much time. Just like you wouldn't have necessarily a lot of time in a real game to think about every possible move and every possible scenario. So I'm training myself to think about these positions quicker. As a result, my rating is definitely suffering. I'm not even in the I'm in the 2000s right now. Usually I'm in the 2200s when I do these puzzles. But at the same time, I think that we are able to speed up our thinking process as we do this also. So yeah, typically you want to offer a draw a lot of times in positions where maybe you're higher rated and you're playing against someone lower rated, but you have a worse position. You can offer a draw. A lot of times the position is about to get maybe pretty complicated, and both of you guys feel like you don't want to go into those complications. A lot of times people agree to a draw, especially grandmasters, when there's just even number of positions and there's just no advantage. And like, for example, if you have king, a bishop versus, bishops of opposite color with a bunch of pawns, typically people agree to a draw in a lot of those kind of games as well. But usually you don't want to take offer draws all the time because you're playing for a win. Even if you end up losing, trying to win, that's still, you get a better experience from that game than just agreeing to a draw and refusing to play those positions. And a lot of times your opponents actually won't accept the draw either. So it's better just to keep playing unless you're definitely worse somehow and you feel like a draw might be a justifiable option. So yeah, here I'm thinking about taking the bishop. So material-wise, we've got the queen, two minors, and two majors and three minors. He's got the queen, two majors and three minors as well. 3, 6, 7 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. We're down a pawn. I am thinking about some queen trap ideas and stuff as well. If rook takes c3, check, b takes c3. I would like to play rook b8, but then there's knight takes. Hmm. Taking on c3 with either rook, I don't know if that really works. It's looking really tough to make that work. Queen takes queen, bishop takes. Oh, got an idea. We're going to take the queen, then once he takes back with the bishop, then we're going to take one bishop with check. He takes back, and we're going to take again, check again. Oh, the problem is he can play bishop c4. I was thinking we can win this bishop, but we can't because he has bishop c4 at the end of those lines. Actually, I wonder if we can play rook takes b4. If queen takes queen, then we take back. But if b takes, then we can take the pawn. We've got a pretty serious attack here. Let's try it. Nope. Was it this move somehow? Nope. Hmm. Why couldn't he take with the B pawn? What's wrong with this? Oh, because we have this move. Interesting. Okay. Well, on to the next one. Queen, rook, two bishops. Queen, rook, two knights. 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns on each side. Material imbalance is the two knights for the bishops. So right away, I want to play rook c2 and just pin the queen to the king. I don't see any reason why that can't be good. Oh, he's got this check on f6. G takes f6 check is devastating. That means we need to get rid of this guy with this move. Now I believe we can play this. All right, on to the next one. So he took a pawn on f7. We've got the queen, 2 majors and 3 minors. He's got the queen, 2 majors and 3 minors. We take rook, he takes bishop, queen. Take queen. I think we're just getting a free piece here. I think we're just getting one for free. Oh, he plays that. Interesting. Could we not take this now? Ugh. We had to defend somehow, I think. Maybe something like this. I don't know. What is the move here? Wow, that was tricky. Tricky puzzle. Hmm. Queen, 2 majors and 3 minors. Queen, 2 major. No, queen, 2 majors, 3 minors. 5 pawns. White has 2 blacks, 5 pawns as well. So here we can take the rook. And then try to defend this position. Let's do that. I think we only have one move here. That's it. Wow. So it's white to play here. So we've got the rook and knight versus rook and bishop and 3 pawns, 4 pawns to 3 pawns. He's threatening our knight, and if we move the knight, then he takes our rook. If we play rook e6, he takes our knight, then we can play rook e8. Let's do that. Do we take this or do we take that? Do we just queen? Do we take the bishop? Then we can just queen. What? What's wrong with just queening? What the heck? That's a completely winning position. Man. Hold on. What's wrong with the queen? Maybe the connected pass pawns with the bishop combined is pretty strong. Stronger than I thought. Could we play this kind of move? Does it work? If rook takes rook. Rook c1, rook takes rook. Takes check, queen takes back. Takes on e4 perhaps. He can't take the rook because we played check here and takes this, and the next move we're playing here and queening again. So after takes here, he's gonna play this. I can play this move actually. Queen to here. Queen to d3. Nope, that wasn't it. Nope, that wasn't it either. Wasn't that move either. None of those moves. What was the idea then? I looked at these kind of ideas also, like taking here and here, but there's nothing that I could see. That's what it was. Okay. So in this position, we've got the queen and 2 rooks and 3 minors. Queen and 2 rooks and 3 minors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pawns each side. Okay. So let's look at the checks and captures. Excuse me. I don't see any checks. I don't see any captures. I do see the idea of trapping his bishop maybe, but he can take on f6. Well, if he takes on f6, then thinking about d5 followed by knight to d8. But I feel like after d5 he might be able to play something like e4 or something to try to untangle his bishop, or even c4. Looking at also moves like knight g4. Takes on g7, might take back, and he can protect. What about knight d8 right away? I think that does work to trap the bishop. Yeah, let's go for that. We take back, and that's it. Okay, so this one, queen and 2 rooks versus queen and 2 rooks, 5 pawns to 5 pawns. We have a passed pawn, so we definitely have an advantage here. Closing out some of these tabs here. Maybe you look at the checks and captures. Don't see any checks. Well, we do have a check here, but that just doesn't make sense. I don't see any capture besides this one. Forcing moves that we can find. Loose piece here. Queen here comes to mind. But that just takes a queen taken. So what about queen here? Trying to think of ways that I can take advantage of these two misplaced rooks. Maybe queen a5 might be the idea, because it's going to be kind of hard for him to defend the pawn on a4, a2. What about queen a3? Rook takes is the problem. Nope. Nope, none of these moves are the right moves. Not this either. Nope. Can't get the queen to move either. It's interesting, very tricky. I was thinking maybe if I can play here, then I can play this and then push this, but that doesn't really make sense either, actually. Wow, it was queen something g5 or something. That was just ridiculous. That move was just so stupid. Like, how's that the right move? If we take here, he takes here. We attack the queen, he takes our queen, we take here. He takes, we take. I think we do get a pawn out of this. I think. No, just kidding, because he can take back and we can take, he takes. There's nothing there. That was not gonna work. Takes here, he takes here. You can take back with the queen and we can defend this knight, I believe. I think we can play that, yep. Hmm. Well, immediately I see that we have queen rook and two minors versus three pawns versus two pawns. One of them is kind of passed for black. I do see a check followed by which we can take the bishop. So I'm gonna first go for that line where I just check and pick up the bishop. Can I check this way? Pick it up this way? What's the difference? The difference is the next move I'm threatening to check and pick up the knight as well, so I'm gonna go for this line. Yep. Alright guys, one more puzzle. If we get it wrong, then we're gonna do one until we get one right before we quit. So yeah, I definitely see ideas of playing check, king takes, check. Check, king here. Check, king here, and we can win the rook. Nope. Wow. No, that wasn't it either. Wow. These puzzles are incredibly tricky, considering they're 1900 rated. I don't know. Don't have a clue. Maybe it's this. Wow. Queen and a rook and a bishop. He's got the queen, rook, and rook. 4 pawns to our 4 pawns. We're down the exchange. If we take with check. Hopefully we've got a checkmate in here somewhere. We take the rook now. He takes, then we play queen check. He just takes our bishop. if queen to d4 check, d5 check, queen to c6 blocks the check. We take, then we can pick up this rook. Then we're winning the pawn in game. That's tricky. I get the idea now. Yeah, interesting. Very good idea. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this puzzles tactics session. Hopefully it was helpful and beneficial to you guys. And to answer the question of the draws in chess, yes, you can draw in chess. It's usually advisable to make a draw if you are in a losing end of a position typically, or you're slightly worse and you want to go ahead and typically you're going to be the one that's higher rated. But if you want to make a peaceful decision with your opponent, you can a lot of times agree to a draw, or if you have a completely dead even position that you know is going to lead to a draw, so you don't want to play all those moves out. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you guys again for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something from these tactical puzzles as well. Take care.